Good morning, my dear students. This is Somasantari, Social Department. Today we are discussing about History Unit 3. The topic is Effects of the World War II. World War II caused several severe hunger crises which led to many casualties and may have had long-term effects on the health of survivors. Effects of the war. New geopolitical power alignment. World War II changed the world in fundamental ways. The world was polarized into two main blocs led by superpowers. One led by the United States with a pronounced anti-communist ideology and the other by Soviet Russia. Europe was divided into two, communist and non-communist. Nuclear proliferation. The United States and the Soviet Union entered into a race to have more nuclear-powered weapons. They built a large stockpile of such weapons. Defense spending skyrocketed in many countries. International agencies. Many international agencies, in particular the United Nations, the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, came into existence, providing a forum for countries large and small. Colonial powers were forced to give independence to former colonies in a process of decolonization. India was the first to achieve independence.
A brief overview of World War II. The war in Europe began in September 1939 when Nazi Germany under Adolf Hitler invaded Poland. Using blitzkrieg tactics, the country was quickly overtaken. The world was shocked. Britain and France responded by declaring war on Germany, but took little action. This became known as the Phony War. But in 1940, German offensives rapidly defeated Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands and France. The British Army, meanwhile, was on the retreat, being evacuated from Dunkirk. Britain, alone, was attacked by Germany during the Battle of Britain and the Blitz. However, the Luftwaffe failed to defeat the RAF. In June 1941, Hitler invaded Russia under the codename Operation Barbarossa, and in December 1941, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, bringing the USA into the war. Germany, Italy and Japan formed the Axis powers, while Britain, Russia and the USA made up the major combatants on the Allied side. In 1942, the Nazis implemented their final solution, a plan to exterminate all Jewish people. Critical battles followed that would dramatically change the course of the war. These were Midway in the Pacific Theatre, June 1942, El Alamein in Egypt, November 1942, and Stalingrad in Russia, January 1943. On June 6, 1944, D-Day, the Allies launched Operation Overlord, invading Normandy, France. The Red Army advanced in the east and was the first to reach the German capital of Berlin. Germany surrendered in May 1945, shortly after Adolf Hitler committed suicide. On 6th of August 1945, the Americans dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima. Japan surrendered on VJ Day, 15th of August 1945. The war was over. World War II lasted from 1939 to 1945 and remains the most geographically widespread military conflict the world has ever seen.
Next, I'll explain Holocaust and its fallout. What is the meaning of Holocaust? A situation where a great many things are destroyed and great many people die. The word Holocaust is used to describe the genocide of nearly 6 million Jews by the Germans during World War II. Annihilating the Jews were one of the main items on the political agenda of Hitler and the Nazis. Hitler was able to play on the anti-Jews feelings, which were common in Germany and in fact throughout Europe. Jews were scattered all across Europe and many had become prominent in business, in performing arts and professional field. Money lending was a major business activity among Jews and this strengthened the prejudice against them. Shakespeare's play, The Merchant of Venice, clearly depicts the dislike and distrust of Jews among the people. After Hitler came to power, the Jews were persecuted in many ways. They were deprived of their civil rights, their properties were confiscated, and many were confined and ghettos. Evenly, the Nazis came up the notion of the final solution, which was exterminate Jews completely. Now, I will explain Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is an international document adopted by the United Nations General Assembly that enshrines the rights and freedom of all human beings. In the aftermath of Holocaust, the UNO in its charter pledged to promote universal respect for an observance of human rights and fundamental freedoms for all without restriction to race, sex, language, and religion. The UN effort to protect human rights on a global basis resulted in the constitution of UN Commission on Human Rights. A committee constituted under its auspices was chaired by Eleanor Roosevelt, wife of late President Franklin Roosevelt. The members of the commission included Charles Malik of Lebanon, P.C. Chang of Nationalist China, John Humphrey of Canada, and René Hazin of France. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights was its important contribution. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights set forth fundamental human rights in 30 articles. The UN adopted this historic charter on December 1948. This day is observed globally as Human Rights Day. When was Human Rights Day celebrated? December 10. Provision of some 19 national constitutions since 1948, according to the Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt Institute in New York, can be traced to this declaration. Birth of Israel. A major outcome of the Holocaust was the creation of the state of Israel as a homeland for the Jews. While this was historically the original home of the Jews during Roman times. New international order. By 1941, the United States and Britain began to give serious consideration to the need for international cooperation for achieving lasting peace among all nations. International economic and financial stability were also important objectives. All these would need international organizations with members of the various nations across the world working together for these common objectives. This ultimately resulted in the establishment of the United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund, with many associated organizations which deal with basic issues of importance for all societies and countries. Next, United Nations. The first initiative for the United Nations came from United States and Britain in 1941 when they issued a joint declaration known as the Atlantic Charter. The declaration of the United Nations was accepted by all the 26 countries which were fighting against the Axis powers on New Year's Day 1942. The Charter of the United Nations was signed on June 26, 1945 by 51 nations. India, which was not an independent country, then also was a signatory to the Charter. Now, the United Nations has 193 member states and each one, big or small, has an equal vote in the United Nations. We, the peoples of United Nations, determined to save succeeding generations from scourge of war, which twice in our lifetime has brought untold sorrow to mankind, and to reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person, in the equal rights of men and women, and of nations large and small, from the preamble to the United Nations. General Assembly and Security Council. The United Nations functions almost like any government through its principal organs which are similar to the legislative, executive and judicial wings of a state. The General Assembly is the body in which each member state is represented. It meets once a year and issues of interest and points of conflict are discussed in the Assembly. The Security Council has 15 members. 5 countries, the United States, Britain, France, Russia and China are permanent members, and there are 10 temporary members who are elected in rotation. These two bodies function like a legislature. Each of our permanent members has the right to vote any decision by the other members of the Security Council. This right has often been used to block major decisions, especially by the superpowers, the US and Russia. Major issues and conflicts are discussed in the Security Council. Administrative structure. The executive wing of the United Nations is UN Secretariat. It is headed by the Secretary General, who is selected by the General Assembly on the recommendation of the Security Council. The Secretary General, along with his cabinet and other officials, runs the United Nations. The International Court of Justice, headquartered at The Hague in Holland, is the judicial wing of the United Nations. The Economic and Social Council, the fifth organ of the United Nations, is responsible for coordinating all the economic and social work of the United Nations. The regional economic commissions functioning for regional development across the various regions of the world are the organs of ECOSOC, Asia, Pacific, West Asia, Europe, Africa and Latin America. They have been very successful and have been headed by eminent economists like Gunnar Myrdal. Other important organs of the UN. Associated organizations deal with areas of critical interest of the world at large like food, health and education and culture. These are Food and Agriculture Organizations, World Health Organizations, UNESCO, UN Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organizations. There are also special organizations funded voluntarily by member countries. These two best known among them, UNICEF, United Nations Children's Fund, which promotes child health and welfare across the world, and UNDP, United Nations Development Programme, which focus on development activities of the UN. Over the decades, the United Nations has expanded its activities in response to the changing problems facing the world. Thus, in 1960s, decolonization was an important issue. Human rights, the problem of refugees, climate change, gender equality are all now within the ambit of the activities of the United Nations. A special mention must be made of the UN peacekeeping force, which has acted in many areas of conflict all over the world. The Indian Army has been an important part of the peacekeeping force and has been deployed in many parts of the world. World Bank. The World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, referred to as the Bretton Woods Twins, were both established in 1945 after the Bretton Woods Conference in 1944, located in Washington, D.C. in the United States. They have the same membership since a country cannot be a member of the bank without being a member of the fund. The two main organs of the World Bank are International Bank for Reconstruction and Development and the International Development Agency. Together, they are often referred to as the World Bank. The main responsibility of the IBRD in the initial years was found the reconstruction activities under the Marshall Plan in the European countries devastated by the war. The agenda later expanded to promote economic development in poorer countries, and the bank lent money to various countries for developmental projects. A further area of interest is poverty alleviation, especially in the rural areas of developing countries. The International Development Agency also lends money to government for developmental activities. These loans are soft loans and are given to very low rates of interest for a period of 50 years. The International Finance Corporation mainly functions with private enterprises and developing countries. In recent years, the bank is actively promoting the achievement of the Millennium Development Goals, which aim at improving living standards, removing illiteracy, empowering women, and improving maternal and child health, improving the environment, and eradicating AIDS. Next, International Monetary Fund. The International Monetary Fund was primarily a brainchild of Harry Dexter White and John Maynard Keynes, the famous economist. It was formally organized in 1945 with 29 member countries. It now has membership of 189 countries. Its primary objective is to ensure financial stability and development across the world. The main agenda is to promote international monetary cooperation, expansion of international trade, and exchange stability. The fund lends money from its resources to countries facing balance of payments problems. It, however, imposes stringent conditions on the borrowing nations to tighten their budget, practice fiscal prudence, and reduce their expenditure. This is often unpopular, especially among the developing countries, which may have to cut down on various programs which provide subsidies to the people. The objectives of IMF are to foster global monetary cooperation, secure financial stability, facilitate international trade, promote high employment and sustainable economic growth, and reduce poverty around the world. Next, post-war welfare states in Europe. The term welfare state refers to the concept that the government is responsible for the social and economic welfare of the people, thus expanding the role of the state beyond providing defense and maintaining law and order. In 1942, the report commonly known as the Privilege Report was published in United Kingdom, which proposed a series of measures which the government should adopt to provide citizens with adequate income, health care, education, housing, and employment to overcome poverty and disease, which were the major impediments to general welfare. After the war, the Labour Party was voted into power in Britain. It promised to undertake steps to look after the people from the cradle to the grave. Legislation was enacted to provide comprehensive free health coverage to the citizens through the National Health Service and monetary benefits like old age pensions and unemployment benefits, children care services, and family welfare services. These are in addition to universal free school education to all children. The benefits can either be achieved through cash transfer like old age pension and unemployment compensation or through free services. In addition, these countries also try to minimize economic disparities through progressive taxation by taxing the higher income groups at relatively high rates. Students, now we are going to end of this session. I hope you are all observing the class properly, isn't it? Well done. Reading practice is very important. So you must read 2 times today's topic. Tomorrow I will ask few questions from today's topic. So read properly. Thank you children. See you next class.